Rough. Progressive Commercial is there to smooth it out. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Twinkly sound.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions.
1050 ESPN New York. The biggest names and the biggest games. WEPN New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
On Sports Center all night. Kevin Durant sees the sunlight in Arizona.
Whenever you're trading a top 3 player in the NBA, and I don't care what you get back, draft picks, young players here, you win the trade initially. You win the trade initially because you have a top 3 player that can close games, and those players are special out there, and not many teams have it.
Have the Lakers done enough to turn their season around?
D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt are all upgrades on their current roster, but I'm still not sure they're materially better than a team like Oklahoma City, who they're fighting with for a play-in tournament spot.
We continue to get you ready for Super Bowl 57.
The guys who have not been played in the Super Bowl don't understand the pressure that comes from off the field, and it's all the outside influences that really distract you from what you're trying to do.
Plus more from the NBA trade deadline. This is Sports Center all night. Here's Jim Basquill.
Yeah, the NFL MVP will be a quarterback that will be on the field on Super Sunday, and it's trade deadline day in the association. Welcome to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. ESPN Radio presented by Progressive Insurance. Plenty ahead in the show, but it's the day after shockwaves sent through the NBA.
And the Phoenix Suns are nearing a blockbuster deal to bring in Nets star Kevin Durant.
4 unprotected first-round picks, a pick swap, all going back to the Nets for Kevin Durant.
This is quite the haul for Brooklyn. If you were going to move Kevin Durant, you got back plenty to start fresh.
And this is a team in the desert that certainly is going to have some immediate championship aspirations. Kevin Durant is a Phoenix Sun.
Yeah, the exodus in Brooklyn was rapid. Kyrie Irving to Dallas, then Kevin Durant to the desert. Brooklyn rebuilding. Trade deadline day in the NBA now in the books. Suns making the biggest splash as they chase the first championship in franchise history. Durant going to Phoenix. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and those host of picks, 23, 25, 27, 29, pick swap, and 28 to the Nets. The Phoenix lineup includes Durant, CP3, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker. Now top odds in the Western Conference to get to the finals. Before we look at what went wrong in the previous super team, let's just take a look at the league's next super squad from that desert. Perk, Chiney, and Stephen A. All or nothing in Phoenix.
Phoenix don't have any excuses, I can tell you that. I mean, you got Kevin Durant with Kevin Booker, with DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul. I definitely think that could put you in a position where the expectation would be championship or bust.
I will say that they are not.
Okay.
Because they bet everybody and their mama on this, and they haven't played a game yet. Now, once they start playing and rolling, if you ask me in a month, I could say they are, because they have some questions around their supporting cast. I think Josh Okogie and Craig, they're going to have to be huge for 3 and D on the perimeter, because if you're looking at this court for the Phoenix Suns, at point Chris Paul, on one wing Kevin Durant, another wing Devin Booker, inside DeAndre Ayton. That's amazing. But championship teams need a rotation. Championship teams need guys that can really buy your starters some minutes so that they finish the year strong and fresh. So once I see that rotation and it works, maybe in a month I'll say they're favorites. Right now I like the Nuggets in the West because they've been consistent, and then I like obviously the Celtics and the Bucks in the East.
They have to win a championship this year.
Right.
Chris Paul is not getting young. He's the same age as me. What's my Cam? He's 38. They made a move. They gave up Mikal Bridges. They gave up Cam Johnson, 4 first-round picks to win a championship this year. Not next year, not the year after next. This year's championship of bust.
Yeah, then there's the other side of what KD and Kyrie left behind. 74 total games played together. 74. 1 playoff series win in 3.5 seasons. Perspective on a colossal failure that was predominantly on the players. Tim Legler, Nick Friedel, Bobby Marks, and Chris Mannix.
If you go back to 2012 at Sports Illustrated, we put Steve Nash and Dwight Howard on the cover and said this is going to be fun when they were with the Lakers. It was not fun. It was catastrophically bad. This Harden, Kyrie, Kevin Durant mix might have been worse because the expectations were probably even higher that this team could, put together a multiple championship run.
This was I don't want to say disaster. I think it's probably more of a disappointment from a Brooklyn perspective because you saw what could have been with the three players, and then you saw that stretch of 20 games when they won 18-2, and now this is basically we're back to 2018-19, a team that's probably could win 42, 43 games, and I bet you probably Sean Marks sleeps a lot better with that with this roster than he did with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden here.
It's the best team that never was in this era. And it's a team that will forever be remembered for what it didn't do. And when you are built to win and you are put together to win a championship and you don't do it with the level of star power that they had on that team, that will be what everybody remembers. It might have happened if there was health in that first season. Everything was clicking, the offense was rolling, and it just never was meant to be. But there's no question that this, as far as the last 15, 20 years or so, is the biggest basketball myth that we've seen in the league.
We're talking about something that's going to go down. I think it's not just maybe the greatest underachievement in the history of the NBA. This is one of the greatest underachievements in the history of team sports, because when they put these three guys together, that should have been guaranteed titles. I think it was the greatest collection of offensive talent ever assembled at the top of one roster when all three guys were there. And the reason that I felt that way about the Nets last week was because I think this was the best stretch Kyrie Irving had as a Net. He looked bought in. He looked engaged. The Nets had run off at one point 18 out of 20 when Durant was still playing. So you're thinking, well, get him back, and they're going to be right there in the mix with those top three in the East. The one thing, though, that they overestimated was guys' willingness to buy in for the long haul and be committed to be in the foxhole together, no matter what. And they made a huge overestimation there.
Yeah, it was a day-to-day proposition with that drama with the Brooklyn Nets. What say you, GM Sean Marks?
Sean, do you deem the KD Kyrie era a failure?
I think it would be easy to look in from the outside, and honestly, I look at it from internally and say, "Wow, it didn't work." Like, let's be honest there. We did not reach the full potential of where we thought we could get to our hopes and honestly beliefs. But again, I look back and we've done a lot of thinking and, soul searching on this. And we say, well, we did everything we possibly could, to maximize this organization's potential, to have ourselves in the conversation for a championship. And that's all we've done. And we've shown that we've built this team up twice. I don't need to go back to what it was, but, built it up twice and and have a team that I think we could look back and say, hey, look, they have a chance.
And Brian Windhorst on when things really went downhill in Brooklyn.
First off, I'd like to just point out that Kyrie and James Harden are free agents in the summer. So if you think this is over, it ain't over. And Kyrie really was interested in being in Phoenix. So just start thinking about that. But let's put that off to the side. This didn't start when Harden wanted out. This started in 2019 when the Brooklyn Nets decided the only answer that they would give to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and really it was Kyrie Irving, because Durant was coming alongside for the ride. It should have been Durant leading and not Kyrie. But whatever, Kyrie used some mind trick to get Durant to go along with him. I didn't believe it then. I don't believe it now. They just kept saying yes. You will pay DeAndre Jordan $40 million. Yes. You will fire Kenny Atkinson as the coach. Yes. You will hire Steve Nash as the coach. Yes. You will do this. Yes. You will do this. Yes. It wasn't until the Nets started saying no that there were problems. No, Kyrie, you can't have the exact extension you want. No, Kevin, we're not going to trade you with 3 years or 4 years left on your contract. No, Kyrie, we still said you can't have the extension that you want. They were saying yes, 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 yes. They lost control. And when they started saying no, then everything fell apart.
And no question about it. How about the first day without KD?
Dinwiddie. To the right, play by Kobe White. Crossover, 2 to shoot, launches a 3. Good! Out the shot clock was closer for Spencer Dinwiddie. He's got 25. Nets by 12.
That's Chris Carino, WFAN. Spencer Dinwiddie, one of the newcomers, back in a second tour of duty with the Nets, scored 25. Brooklyn beat Chicago 116-105. Joe Harris had 18 as well. Jock Vaughn post-game on KD's time as a Net.
Unbelievable time, in my opinion. I'm going to give you my perspective, my relationship with him. I got a chance to coach one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. And to see his love for the game, to see the way he worked every single day on this game, pretty impressive. So I'm going to give him his flowers. He deserves it. We had some good times together trying to grow this thing, and appreciate him respecting me and our ride along the way.
The Suns also played their first game post-KD trade. Again, no Kevin Durant, and he won't be back until after the All-Star break. They also didn't have Devin Booker in Atlanta.
Trey way out there using a little time now with the Hawks up by 11. Trey's going to shoot another three and make another one. Oh, my. Trey is feeling it tonight. It's 107-93. Hawks by 14 with 3:38 to go.
That's 92-9 the game. Young scored 25 of his 36 in the second half. Atlanta beat Shorthead in Phoenix 116-107. KD not expected back again until after that All-Star break. But Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, yeah, they're stoked.
I'm excited, man. I didn't know KD for a long time since he was a camper at 5-star basketball camp. You know what I mean? And so he's one of the best players that ever played the game, man. You know what I mean? And just to know how he approaches the game. Such a, his nickname Easy Money, you know what I mean? But just somebody who loves the game like that. You know what I mean? I think that's what brought me and Book close together, because he just loved the hoop, and KD, he just loved the hoop. So I'm excited about the process of building and seeing what the team.
You think with Kevin and the whole round that you guys have what you need to win a title?
He's damn right. He's damn right. That's how I feel. And it's gonna be real fun because there's so many pieces. It's gotta leave. And it's trouble, and it's fun because it's about time that, you know what I'm saying, we gotta, the firepower for real, and you can feel it.
Motivating factor is to be the best.
A one-handed catch, touchdown, Kansas City.
You're in the biggest game of your life, and you want to go out there and make memories with your teammates.
I remember saying this about Patrick early on. You could have the perfect play call, and you could execute it perfectly, and it won't matter.
Mahomes, Kelsey, we throw around the term generational all the time, but Pat Mahomes is the definition of generational.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes looking to do two things this week: win a Super Bowl, and he's also won an MVP, garnering 48 of the 51st place of votes, gaining the honor on a Thursday night, making him the 10th player ever to win the award twice. Prior to garnering the latest honor for Mahomes, he sat down with our Jeff Darlington.
You're gonna have to deal with the Chiefs as the AFC champions.
What sense of pride does it give you to reach the Super Bowl with a team that looks very different? Doesn't have Tyreek Hill, for instance.
I understand how much talent I had around me my first few years, and I just relied on them to continue to make plays happen. And I think this year, it wasn't that I didn't have talent around me, because I do have a lot of talent around me, but I had to take a more leadership role and grow up a little bit. There's only like 10 of us that have been here since we won the Super Bowl the last time. And it's not about the one player. It's not about all the coaches. It's about the culture that we built as a group.
A day of enormous news. The story of the day. Tom Brady says goodbye. For 23 years, the 45-year-old is done playing football.
I'm retiring for good.
I know that you had mentioned last week that you talked to Tom. What advice did Tom Brady give you?
He just talks to me about not only the game, but how to kind of will guys to win and how to keep that in that drive that I have. That gives me the motivation every day to go out here and be my best, have a chance to be in this game and have a chance to win it.
How many different people do you get to talk to?
I talked to Tom and I talked to Peyton. Those are two of the kind of the two main guys that I'm able to kind of text and have conversations with. And then I talked to guys like my dad and LaTroy Hawkins, who I've had relationships with my whole entire life.
Mahomes is hurt. He got hit hard on this play.
How does this ankle injury rank in terms of the physical challenges that you've had to overcome at such a critical time?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. And it doesn't feel good. Having 2 weeks to kind of get it ready is definitely going to help. And I'll try to be close as I can to 100%.
I think a lot of people would be interested in knowing, what did it feel like when you did run for those 5 yards on that ankle?
You feel it. I mean, it's there. It was there the entire game. But I think when your adrenaline's pumping and you're playing, you're just trying to be a competitor and make some stuff happen. I've always believed that injuries, as physical as they are, a lot of it's mental. And you have to tell yourself that you can do more than your body even thinks it can. And that's what I try to do.
I want to read this headline to you. Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts to be the first black quarterbacks to face off at the Super Bowl. What does that mean to you?
It's special. And as I've been in the NFL, I've been able to really learn more and more about the black quarterback. And there's been a lot of great black quarterbacks throughout the entire NFL's lifespan, and they haven't got the same opportunities that I've been given now. And if we can have me and another great quarterback like Jalen be in this game and show that we can consistently be great year in and year out, it'll just open the door for future generations behind us.
And well said by the latest MVP of the NFL. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max talking Patrick Mahomes, talking Super Bowl 57. ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU. This morning, 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern. Sal Palantonio starts the guest list at 8 Eastern. Joe Fortenbaugh follows at 8:30. Coming up, College Hoops has the nation's top-ranked team getting tested, and the new-look Lakers without LeBron against Giannis and the Bucks. That's next. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.
Coming up Friday, do I have a treat for you? I'm going to tell you the biggest winners and biggest losers of the NBA trade deadline. My answers just might surprise you. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, E2, and ESPNU.
This is SportsCenter All Night.
When you bundle your renters and auto insurance with Progressive, you could save money, but it doesn't cover any terrible memories living rent-free in your head.
Hey, I noticed it's been a few minutes since you thought about when your quarterback ran into his own teammate and fumbled, technically forcing his own fumble, and then the other team took it in for a score, and then you couldn't turn on the TV for a month without being constantly reminded of the time your quarterback sacked himself and fumbled.
Sorry, we can't save you from that memory, but we could save you money bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Renters insurance and bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
See details at AutoZone.com.
The ESPN New York app is here.
Aloha, Nick. Aloha, guys. But I have downloaded the app, so now I'm a fully app official out here in Hawaii.
Listen in Hawaii. Listen wherever. We don't care. Take us everywhere.
Plus, you can download all your favorite 98.7 exclusive podcasts like Game Misconduct, Flight Deck, and Breaking Big Blue. The ESPN New York app. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. Just download the app for instant enjoyment.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use ClosetBox instead? ClosetBox is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. ClosetBox's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. ClosetBox's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. ClosetBox has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
The new doctor is drop dead gorgeous.
Please, he's just another Ivy League educated surgeon with good hair.
No, he's different.
Nurses, we got a Class C motorhome with a detached driver's side mirror. Meet me in the OR. Stat.
Right away, doctor.
No, she's on break. I'll handle this one.
Oh, you conniving little...
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
The biggest names, the biggest games, they're all right here. This is 1050 ESPN, New York.
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Here's Jim Basquiat.
Yeah, we're back on SportsCenter all night with the LeBron-less Lakers getting Giannis's Bucks in a game here on ESPN Radio. James sitting out with a sore ankle after becoming the league's all-time leading scorer. And yeah, they had a deal with Giannis.
Giannis for three. Good from the top. A catch-and-shoot triple, and he holds the pose, the little gooseneck.
Doing it from deep. But Dennis Schroeder came to play, one of the few point guards that remained on the Lakers roster post-trade deadline.
Here's Walker. Pass to the top. Schroeder checks his feet, shoots the three, and buries it. We're tied at 94.
Great pass by Lonnie Walker, getting to the teeth of the defense, making the right play to an open shooter.
Schroeder, the shooter, with 22.
Again, tied the game in the fourth quarter. He had 25 in all, but too much Giannis in this one.
Giannis working with 36 points. Had 40 in the first meeting. A loss at home to the Lakers. Going to back down Gabriel. Into the lane. Turns and lays it in. Way too easy for the Greek freak, who puts him up 8.
Finishes with 38 points. Bucks rally past the Lakers 115-106. Chris Middleton adds 22. Milwaukee's won 9 straight games. How about the post-game extra? The man who had the call right here on ESPN Radio, Vince Carter and Mark Kestisher.
Jim, thank you very much. The Milwaukee Bucks, I don't know if they just saw who was out on the other side today with no LeBron James and all the trades that went down for the Lakers. A sluggish first half for a team that came in with 8 straight wins. But when they had to turn it on, apparently they were challenged by their head coach, Mike Budenholzer, at halftime, and they answered that challenge for their 9th straight win.
And that's what championship teams do. You're issued a challenge, or your coach comes out after you, light a fire under you, and you respond. And they responded not only offensively, which they just were lackluster and just they weren't making shots, but defensively, they turned it up a notch against an undermanned team and showed why they are the Milwaukee Bucks, and they're very capable of coming out of the East.
Well, the Bucks usually make a good trade deadline maneuver. They picked up Jay Crowder, who hasn't played since last year. We'll see how that fits in for them. Meanwhile, the Lakers, who are now 6 under 500, they made a bevy of trades today. They didn't have LeBron James because of injury. They needed a big game from Anthony Davis. He does go for 23 and 16, but some of the others really stepped up tonight, made it interesting for about 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Schroeder stepped up. Troy Brown had a nice night, but Lonnie Walker and Reeves had great contributions to this team, and I think it's going to pay dividends for this team down as they go through the end of the stretch, and particularly next year when the Lakers figure out where they're going and what path they're going to take with the guys they're going to use.
Well, they're going to wait on D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, all acquired today. They might have them Saturday night in San Francisco against the Warriors, a game you'll hear here on ESPN Radio. And Mo Bamba also will be joining them at some point in the near future. But the Bucks make it 9 straight wins, 38 and 17 on the season as they take down the Lakers 115-106, the final. For Vince Carter, I'm Mark Kestisher right here on your home for NBA All-Star Weekend, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Now let's send it back to Jim Basquill in the studio.
All right, Kesty, thanks so much. How about the West Best taken down in O-Town?
Wendell going to attack the bucket, finger roll up and in right over Nikola Jokic. Dell was very decisive and took it right to the rack. That's a big, big hoop.
As 96-9, the game, Wendell Carter led 7. Magic scores in double figures with 19. Orlando's bench outscored Denver's reserves 56-10. As the Magic beat the West leading Nuggets 115-104. They're in 13th place, by the way, in the Eastern Conference at 23 up and 33 down. From the NBA to the colleges.
Blue inside to Edie. Edie out to Lawyer. He's at the top of the key. Left wing to Braden Smith. He wants to drive. Braden got underneath the basket. It made a layup. 24 points for Braden Smith.
And how about a career high 24 for Smith? Rob Blackman from Learfield has topped ranked Purdue. Gets the best of Iowa 87-73. The freshman shot 8 of 10, including 4 of 5 from beyond the arc.
Bailey in and out of traffic. 1-on-3. Lays it up around and in. And Oregon State is going to need a timeout here. They're going to have to tap out here in a second.
Yeah, the Bruins are starting to put it on them now.
And no question, Josh Lewin from Learfield. Mari Bailey. Oregon State, that final was 62-47. The nation's 7th-ranked team, a winner yet again. Coming up, more reaction to Kevin Durant, now a member of the Phoenix Suns, and we'll spotlight both starting quarterbacks in Super Bowl 57. That's next. You're listening to Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio.
Greeny, and the countdown is now on in earnest. The Eagles and the Chiefs, #1 in their conferences all year long. Now they settle the issue, and we'll be the place to talk about it. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN22 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's code ESPN22. Use code ESPN22 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
You can't miss a moment with Greeny. If the Jets are meeting with Derek Carr and they've offered him a bunch of money, the Jets know they're not getting Rodgers. However, if you start hearing other teams are in it for Carr and the Jets are nowhere to be found, they're not making any overtures, I have been told by people whose opinions I value that is a signal that the Jets think they have a real shot at Aaron. Greeny, weekday mornings at 10 a.m. on 98.7 ESPN.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
The ESPN New York app is here.
Aloha, Nick. Aloha, guys. But I have downloaded the app, so now I'm a fully app official out here in Hawaii.
Listen in Hawaii. Listen wherever. We don't care. Take us everywhere. Plus, you can download all your favorite 98.7 exclusive podcasts like Game Misconduct, Flight Deck, and Breaking Big Blue. The ESPN New York app. Available now on the App Store and Google Play. Just download the app for instant enjoyment. The all-new Weekend Wager comes to 98.7 ESPN on Friday nights at 10 p.m. It's presented by BetMGM Sports. Don't be left out of the action.
This is Sports Center all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Here's Jim Basquiat.
And ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. For a job you'll love, visit progressive.com/careers.
Half-hour headlines on Sports Center all night.
Again, our top stories. NBA trade deadline comes and goes with a slew of moves. Keep up with the latest on ESPN.com. Biggest deal in the league, Kevin Durant, blockbuster to the Suns. Days before the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes wins league MVP, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame sends 5 new members to Canton, 4 on D, including Darrelle Revis.
Nets and Suns pulling off a deal, and it's a big one.
This is quite the haul. If you were going to move Kevin Durant, you got back 20 to start fresh.
This is a team in the desert going to have some immediate championship aspirations.
Yeah, if Kevin Durant's on the team, it's a super team, right? From the Warriors to the Nets to the Suns. His former GM, Sean Marks, on the deal.
Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's always difficult when you're trading a player of that stature and that ilk. Very difficult. You know, my job as a GM and our job as a front office is to try and bring in that caliber of talent and so forth. So those decisions are not easy. You know, they come with a lot of thought, a lot of process, a lot of systematic debriefs and discussions that go along with that. But at the same time, you know, to be able to move Kevin to a place where he will have success and they will enter into their championship window, and for us, to bring back, these 2 players in that particular trade and the draft assets, that gives us a clear pathway now to continue to rebuild and maybe not set the reset button, so to speak, because, we have a group in there that's very competitive and want to get out there and want to compete at the highest level.
Yeah, they did right by Durant, sending him to where he wanted to go. Did they do right by their own team? From one Marks to the other. Bobby, on the timing of this deal, unlike the discussions that went on in the offseason.
Timing. That's what it is. If this deal happened in the summer, probably Phoenix says no and probably Brooklyn says no. I think we're at a point where, certainly after the Kyrie Irving trade on Sunday and where Phoenix is right now, new owner, an aggressive new owner here, basically went all in. And I think for Brooklyn, you were probably just counting the months when another Kevin Durant trade was going to happen, and whether it be in June or July. And you pivot. You basically wipe the slate clean from where you were with young players.
Yeah, the Nets got out from under that cloud, right? Of the constant chatter about a potential Kevin Durant trade. With regards to that aggressive new owner in Phoenix, here's Brian Windhorst.
It became a covert one-team negotiation. And that one-team negotiation is from an owner who took the team over a few hours beforehand, and the only place that Durant wanted to go. And a trade offer that the Suns would not have made, and in fact, I don't believe did make last summer under Robert Sarver, they were willing to make. By the way, this owner, Matt Ishbia, the NBA expedited this. The original timeline, he would not have been able to have the team They expedited it to get it in within about 24 hours. He had a press conference 24 hours before the trade deadline, and then he comes in and then green lights this.
It all happened oh so fast, though Stephen A. Smith on why the former super team in Brooklyn ultimately failed.
Yes, but it's not because they didn't win a championship. It's because they really didn't compete. The fact of the matter is they were there for 3.5 years, and they only have one playoff series to show for it. And Kevin Durant and Kyrie didn't even play 75 games together. That's why. If you came short, if you came and you competed against one of you with each other, and you were there, and you were solid together and what have you, and it just didn't work out because Boston or Milwaukee or somebody was superior, that would be different. But to not even play half of your games together or a quarter of your games together, it's egregious. They had the keys to the throne, and they blew it.
One word, Kyrie. Meantime, Tim Bontemps says the Suns are not the title favorites, even with KD.
I definitely don't think they're the favorites to win the title. I would have Boston and Milwaukee still above the field. I mean, look, the Suns, to me, obviously have a really high ceiling, but you've got Chris Paul, who's 37 or 38 and has had a bunch of muscle injury issues. Devin Booker has missed a bunch of time with injuries the last couple of years. And Kevin Durant has obviously missed a ton of time, unfortunately, with injuries, right? So if those three guys and DeAndre Ayton are all healthy, then I really like Phoenix's chances, going up against anybody over 7 games. But for them to make it through the next 4 or 5 months healthy, they're going to need, some real injury luck to work in their favor. And I think if you look at sort of the odds of that over time, it seems more likely than not, probably at least one of those guys is going to have to miss a little bit of time. And this team is very, very light on depth.
Perhaps, but count Monty Williams, Suns head coach, among those that are stoked.
I think it's more than a lift. I think it's a jolt, if that makes sense, just because of not just who he is as a player, but his love for the game. I think the guys are going to see something that they may not have seen before as far as his approach and how much he just loves to play basketball. I think if he could hoop every day, 24/7, he would do that. And I think that's who we are. And so to be able to have someone like that in your gym who's also ultra talented and one of the best to ever do it, I think it's going to not just complement what we do, it's going to uplift and give us a bit of a jolt.
Yeah, we mentioned deadline day, trade deadline day in the NBA came and went on Thursday, and I encourage you to check out all the details of the comings and goings on ESPN.com. But we'll focus on the LA moves, right? The Clippers and Lakers. The Clippers add Bones Highland, Eric Gordon, and Mason Plumlee. The Lakers, meantime, did some work prior to the deadline. They get Mo Bamba, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, David Reed, and they are all in, right? Out goes Russ. Out goes Pat Bev and Thomas Bryant, Tim Legler, Bobby Marks on the moves made by the Lakers front office that gives them a better shot at a title.
I just think the fit of D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and what they could do for spacing, adding shooting, and they're playing with a willing passer in LeBron James, a guy that can incorporate them pretty seamlessly. It just makes more sense to have that kind of spacing, to have that kind of depth. The Lakers are a dangerous team, and I know that may sound crazy because they just seem to be disappointing all the time, and we talk about them all the time in a negative light. I think we're ready to maybe turn the page on that here in these last 25 games. If you're Denver, if you're Memphis, if you're the Sacramento Kings, if they're able to hold on to that spot, do you really want to end up seeing a team with LeBron James, Anthony Davis on it in the first round of the playoffs potentially? So this is a team that is there lurking. I love what the Lakers did. It's a much more fluid offense now.
I really like what they were able to do, especially you turn Westbrook into 3 players. You mentioned Mo Bamba, Davon Reed. They went out, they flipped Thomas Bryant here. And basically, this is a multiple trades for now. It's also for the offseason. Mm-hmm. It's for the offseason. They could have rolled in cap space and, been one of these teams chasing, but they basically turned $32 million in cap space into about 6 players, which is basically the 2019 version that won the championship. That roster was built the right way where you had the 2 main guys and then you had guys making, those $10 to $12 million salaries.
Yeah, that's what happens when you allow the GM to act as the GM and not the players to act as the GM.
When the lights are the brightest and the cameras is on, he's going to show up every time.
We fly around, we make it right, we dominate.
The nickname Showtime Mahomes came from my godfather and my dad when I was playing T-ball and make diving plays around the field. So that kind of was where it started at, and I've tried to just carry that tradition on.
Mahomes magic. Patrick Mahomes is incredible today. Showtime. It's Showtime because he shows up all the time. He's called Showtime Mahomes because he's always put on the show when it's time.
Yeah, he showed up this season, that's for certain, as MVP. Patrick Mahomes garners his second MVP honor on a Thursday, outdistancing the field with 48 of the 50 first-place votes. Jalen Hurts, the quarterback that will be on the field against him, finishes as second. Andy Reid on coaching the special talent that is Mahomes.
It's your job to coach up one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. What do you think the best thing that he does is?
I think he's smart. He's been blessed with a phenomenal mind. He can learn the playbook and do it quickly. He can make that evaporate and come back the next week and take on a whole new bunch, but still come back 3 weeks from now when you repeat a couple of those plays to recall it like that.
I asked Andy this question. I said, what's the best thing that Patrick Mahomes does? What do you think he said?
I would say compete. I think that's the biggest thing. Obviously, I can do a lot of stuff on the football field, but I think from growing up playing sports everywhere, it's, hey, how can you find a way to win?
That's not what he said.
It's not? That's close.
He said he's smart. Smart.
Yeah, I mean, that's something where that's just how I was taught. And I goes from Alex Smith. That goes from Chad Henne and other guys in the QB room with me is they showed me how to kind of create this blueprint of the week and how to prepare yourself.
From your perspective, what is something that Patrick needs to work on?
He's always continuously working on his feet, his core, his balance in the pocket, and then still blending in those off the charts and out of balance throws.
Patrick Mahomes with Mahomes magic. Oh, how did he pull that off?
I have to continue to get better moving inside the pocket, especially once I get hit. If I get hit a couple times, I don't want to start drifting and start relying on kind of the scramble around and make some throws happen. And I think there's been times and seasons where I lose my fundamentals because I start drifting and throwing off my back and relying on my arm.
You got to feel it and know where that sweet spot is, where you throw the ball the best. And during the game, if something gets out of whack, I go right back to that and get it right. He works on that like crazy.
Jalen Hurts. He's the CEO of this team on and off the football field. Hurts keeps fighting for the end zone. What a run!
He really wants to be great. I can say, like, he hears the doubter. He's driven from, like, within. His mindset is on another level.
Hurts throwing right sideline. A.J. Brown's got it.
His message to the team right before this team took off for Arizona and was very simple. Keep the main thing, and you can hear it reverberate all over this building.
What a special season it's been for Jalen Hurts. We just mentioned second in MVP voting, leading the Eagles to Super Sunday. He sat down with our Matt Hasselbeck.
4, 3, 2, 1. A flock of Eagles is heading to Arizona.
When I was growing up, I remember when Doug Williams was the starting quarterback in the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl. And here we are, first time ever, two starting quarterbacks who happen to be black going head to head. How important is that to you?
It'll be a moment. It'll be a moment. You know, my grandparents, my father, my parents, they see it because they grew up in a different time than we're growing up in now. But it's a special moment. You know, it's a historical moment. And for the young kids watching at home, maybe it's a kid out there that their coach wants them to try another position because they think they can't do it. I'm glad to be someone that is uplifting people to keep going and keep fighting because you can do it. Put your mind to it. Family on 3, 1, 2, 3.
So I played with a guy named Seneca Wallace. One of the teams he played for was the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers been around a long time. Seneca Wallace was the first black starting quarterback ever in the history of the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
You come to a team with a very rich history of elite starting quarterbacks. Is that special to you to be a part of this team, this organization because of that?
Yeah, I think it is. It's something that I've realized as the journey is going on. And I've always had my memories of McNabb, Rodney Peete, and Randall Cunningham, and Michael Vick, of course. To have an opportunity to lead this place, I think it's special.
I want to come out here and dominate.
He lets it fly, and it is caught for a touchdown, A.J. Brown. You cannot throw a football better than that. I mean, it was perfect.
You and Patrick Mahomes, number 1 and number 2, highest QBR as a pocket passer. Why do you think people sleep on you as a pocket passer?
I think beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I play the game in a very unique way. Me personally, being able to be consistent in the run game, be consistent in the passing game, and mentally know what my plan is and knowing what I want to do based off of my preparation. And I think that's the beautiful part about all of this is everybody has an opinion about something, but everybody in their opinions don't deposit at the bank.
Well said. Top 2 quarterbacks in the league playing against each other on a Super Sunday. Now, meantime, Geno Smith, comeback player of the year, and the Giants' Brian Daboll garners NFL Coach of the Year. With a rare lean towards defense, the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2023 will feature 4 of the 5 players on that side of the ball. Cornerbacks Rondé Barber and Darrelle Revis, outside linebacker DeMarcus Ware, and a linebacker Zach Thomas, as well as another Thomas, tackle Joe Thomas, all going to Canton. It marks the first time since 1970 that 4 of the maximum 5 slots have been defensive players. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU this morning. Sal Palantonio joins the show at 8 Eastern. Joe Fortenbaugh follows at 8:30. And how about some NFL talent? Champ Bailey at 9, Sean Payton at 9:20, and Devin Hester at 9:45. One note from college football: Texas, Oklahoma headed to the Southeastern Conference in 2024. Big 12 officials cleared the way for those programs to enter a year earlier than planned. Coming up, more college hoops, including another top 20 upset in the night on ice and the night's top plays. That's next. This is Sports Center All Night on ESPN Radio.
Coming up Friday, Super Bowl 57 is finally here, and I'll tell you which non-quarterback will have the biggest impact on the game. Keyshawn, J. Will, and never forget Max, Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
More Sports Center All Night. Next.
The Michael K. Show is on.
Nick Friedel.
The Nets, even a few weeks ago, still thought they could make a legit run at a title. And now today, having moved Kevin Durant right after moving Kyrie Irving and realizing they are back at square one is almost hard to believe for any other team. In the end, once they moved Kyrie, that Kevin knew that this team was no longer good enough.
Don't miss the Michael K. Show, weekdays at 3 on 98.7 ESPN.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code APP70 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code APP70. Use code APP70 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up.
The college basketball season is heating up, which means it's time for the Wendy's Wooden Watch. You see, in 2002, I was honored to have received the John R. Wooden Player of the Year Award, which is presented to the country's most outstanding men's and women's player, who is also making progress towards earning a degree. This year, players like Drew Timme, Armando Bacot, Aaliyah Boston, and Caitlin Clark are vying for the trophy. So who will take it home? The 2023 John R. Wooden Men's and Women's Player of the Year is presented by Wendy's.
Wendy's home-style French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me, did you just say Wendy's French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Attention! Per the current government mandate, U.S.-based insurers are now required to cover at-home COVID testing kits with no out-of-pocket fees to you. If you have a current insurance plan, you are eligible to receive up to 8 COVID-19 tests shipped to you each month absolutely free as long as the government mandate is in effect. Just visit yourfreetest.net to register now. That's yourfreetest.net to receive your tests shipped to you at no cost. Go to yourfreetest.net. Medicare insured or not eligible.
Don't miss the #1 rated afternoon drive show in New York. It's the Michael Kay Show. And it's every weekday at 2:55 on 98.7 ESPN.
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Here's Jim Basquiat.
Yeah, we're back on SportsCenter all night with the West Coast Conference College hoops and an upset.
Working on the left side of the floor. Met on a switch by Bowen with 6 to shoot. Hesitation dribble. Crossing over. 3 to shoot. Down the lane. Right hand scoop layup is good. Puts it in with 8 seconds to go. Gale's pushing the ball. Mahaney throws it. Nearly stolen. And it is. Shelton has it.
Yeah, that's KXLU 88.9 FM with the call. Cam Shelton, 31. Loyola Marymount getting the best of number 15 St. Mary's, 78-74. Keep it in conference.
10 seconds to shoot. Bolton dribbles to his right, shoots a 3, and drains it. Bolton has 16. The Bulldogs lead is back to 20.
That's a pretty good defensive possession for San Francisco. Tough break. That's a nice shot from Rasheer Bolton.
That's Tom Hudson from the Learfield. Rasheer Bolton at 23 with 6 gives. Drew Timme, 21. Gonzaga getting the best of San Francisco, 99-81. And the nation's 4th-ranked team also in play.
And rebound off to Henderson. Outlet it goes. Creasa down the other way. Creasa throw it inside to Bellis. This time he got free and laid it in.
Once again, Tabellas just has a big-time advantage over the freshman Grant Newell there. Once again, Arizona, but more importantly, starting to get some stops.
Azuolas Tubelis has had a terrific season, 24 points, 14 rebounds Thursday, helping to lead number 4 Arizona past Cal, 85-62. The call from Brian Jeffries from Learfield. That's the hard court play from the colleges. The night's top sounds all about hooping from the association. Mark Robbins has the details.
#4.
Hello there, Jim. We'll get things started with our crew in L.A. Austin Reeves and the Lakers are trying to handle things against Giannis and the Bucks on ESPN Radio.
7 on the shot clock. They isolate the middle. Reeves off the bounce by Giannis and lays it in.
Mr. Reeves says, Mr. Greek Freak Giannis, Antetokounmpo, come dance with me. Great left to right crossover to an easy layup.
Oh, he's got to put that on his highlight. Austin Reeves has 10 and they're buzzing.
#3.
And for the Bucks in this game, Drew Holiday stepping back and stepping up to hit a big shot again on ESPN Radio.
Holiday tip of the circle jumper. Good. And Milwaukee red hot in this third quarter after struggling in the first half. Once down 11, they're now up 9. A 20-point turnaround here in Los Angeles. 14 of Holiday's 16 coming in the quarter.
#2.
For Atlanta, it sure is good for the Hawks to have Trae Young at the heart of their offense. A 92-9 the game in Atlanta.
Trae way out there using a little time now with the Hawks up by 11.
Trae's going to shoot another 3 and make another one. Oh, my. Trae is feeling it tonight. It's 107-93. Hawks by 14 with 3:38 to go.
#1.
Finally, welcome back, Spencer. Dinwiddie making a triumphant return to Brooklyn on WFAN in New York.
Dinwiddie. On the right play by Kobe White. Crossover, 2 to shoot, launches a 3.
Good. After the shot clock buzzer for Spencer Dinwiddie. He's got 25. That's right, 12.
And it comes in a win. In the meantime, off ice NHL, the Rangers getting a sniper. Vladimir Tarasenko dealt from the St. Louis Blues to the New York Rangers. On the ice,
Hagel knocked down Rantanen. Hagel scores! What a night for Brandon Hagel! And it's 4-0
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, 2 goals and a give, as heard on ESPN. Andre Vasilevsky made 30 stops to stop an 84-game regular season shutout drought. Lightning blanked the Avs 5-0.
Hamilton with it again. Now for Brett. Snaps one to the corner. Palat head up, gives it to Hamilton with a drive. He scores! There it is, number 2 of the night for Hamilton. And it's 2-1.
As Devils Hockey Network, Dougie Hamilton scored 2 power play goals. New Jersey continued to roll. Without Jack Hughes, they do it, beating Seattle 3-1. Elias Peterson had 2 goals in the third. Vancouver snapped 2-game skid 6-5 over the Isles, despite Bo Horvat scoring against his former team. And Jack Eichelton had a goal and to give Vegas over Minnesota 5-1. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max this morning, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, ESPNU. The guest list starts with Sal Palantonio at 8 Eastern. Joe Fortenbaugh comes on at 8:30. Champ Bailey, Pro Football Hall of Famer, at 9 Eastern. New Broncos coach Sean Payton at 9:20. And Devin Hester, former return specialist, at 9:45 Eastern. Meantime, post KD trade, the new title odds are out. Tyler Fulgham takes a look at who now has the top odds to claim an NBA title.
The Suns have made a massive move as they now have the second shortest odds in the entire NBA to win the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
So again, the Suns' best odds in the West, despite currently standing 6th overall in conference. Kevin Durant will be back sometime after the All-Star break. Few notes on the way out. Kobe Bryant's jersey from his MVP season selling for over $5.8 million at auction. Charlie Strong deciding to leave Miami over being snubbed as DC. And Yu Darvish from the Padres agreeing to a 6-year deal. It's worth $108 million on that extension. Thanks for staying up all night. For producer Josiah Howard and technical director Cam Ursery, I'm Jim Basquil. Plenty of NFL talk. The MVP in the books with Patrick Mahomes and Super Bowl 57 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Next.
Coming up next, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Let me guess. Unknown caller. You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need. Indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign, and we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
The Bart and Hahn Show.
What does the rest of the league think of you right now? You had 3 guys, and James Harden was there for a minute and was like, get me out of here.
And
Kyrie just completely destroyed your franchise. And Kevin Durant didn't want to be there the minute they traded away the guy that destroyed your franchise. And you come out of it with,
well, I got a bunch of picks.
Hang that banner of all your draft picks, put that right next to beat the Knicks 9 straight times.
Bart Scott and Alan Hahn. Weekdays at noon on 98.7 ESPN.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing, I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor